if there is anyone watching the webcast, if you would go to this link for me, it's just going to ask you for your name and whether you're faculty or staff, and shouldn't just take just a couple minutes. So the plan is to go through and do record, edit, and share with Panopto, and then record, edit, and share with Screencast-o-matic, and just kind of look at the differences between the two. With the Panopto stuff, most of what I'm going to talk about today is in those first 2 episodes that I posted on the Panopto tutorial channel. There will be some stuff that we'll talk about, though, that's not in there. And then just some basic tips on screencasting, and then if there's any questions, then we'll address those. So to add Panopto to Moodle, if you don't already have it added to Moodle, well, first you'll have to turn your editing on, and then go to add a block, and scroll down to Panopto, and it just adds it automatically. So instead of having to go through your desktop, you can get straight to Moodle through here. And you have to click on course settings, which is weird. I don't really understand why they do it that way. But that's how you add it to Moodle. Once you get in there, like y'all's folders look like this, right? By default. Don't your folder names look something like that, long and drawn out? So if you want to change your folder names, see my folders, if you click on my folders, it'll make that list a little bit shorter. Mine I've changed, so they're a little, less long and drawn out. I can look at them a little more quickly and easily and see what they are. So if you want to change your folder names, you can either right click on it and go to settings, or you can left click on it to go to the folder and then go to your settings right over here. So either way, it's the same icon, either by right clicking there or clicking the folder that you want to change the name to, and then click on the settings. So when you get into settings, you want to be in the overview, name of the folder, edit it, and then you can change it to whatever you want and save it. Then if you're teaching multiple courses, or multiple sections rather, of the same course, and you want to do like subfolders, like say if this sample course 1, say that was like Math 100, and you had like 2 or 3 different sections of Math 100 or something, then you could call this one Math 100, and then do a subfolder within that for each section, or you could do subfolders for chapters. Like if you wanted to keep all of your chapter 1 videos in the same folder, then you click here and then go to add a folder within that folder, and you can say chapter 1, chapter 2, or units, or just kind of however you want to organize your stuff. The one kind of weird thing about that is, like, if I go to chapter 3, most of the time when you do stuff like this, if you just click off of it over here, it'll add it. But for this, you have to push enter to add the folder. It's just something that's a little bit quirky with Panopto, I guess. Then if you add one that you don't need, or need to delete one for whatever reason, go back to the folder over here, and again you can right click it, settings, or left click it, settings here, same deal. Instead of overview, you go to manage and then delete. Manage, delete, manage, delete. Alright, so that's getting set up and doing your folder setups. Since I'm doing this webcast, I'm not going to be able to do everything I was wanting to, because I can't actually record 2 sessions at the same time. So I'll just mention a couple of the things. With recording, so you cannot switch. I think you would email me about this, right? So you can't switch back and forth between what you're recording once you start recording. So if you want to do the webcam and the main screen, then it's going to record the webcam and the main screen the whole time. There's a way that we can edit it to fix that, depending on what you want to do, and I'll show you how to do that. But just in general, whatever you click on to record, whether it's capture PowerPoint, capture main screen, capture webcam, whatever was being recorded to begin, then that's going to be recorded the whole time. So
they'll see it all.
Right.
The whole time.
And there's different ways to edit to fix that, but the editing interface in Panopto is not the best. So let's just look at that. So if you do capture PowerPoint, let's go to here. Okay, so when I recorded this one, I clicked on capture PowerPoint and only capture PowerPoint. So the only thing that it records is the actual slides. So when we go to edit it, you can, well, first of all, this is a PowerPoint I got offline. So where you create the PowerPoint, you got the little title up top. If you type something in there, then it'll automatically create a little table of contents over there. Well, these were not created that way. So if I wanted to, I could come over here and do my own little table of contents for each one of my slides. So that's what this is over here. You can also add in new slides. So you go to slides and then add a presentation. So let's say that maybe the book changed or something. I know that happens a lot. And so maybe one of your slides is out of date, or you just update it if you make your own PowerPoints and you just want to change something. So I've actually already, see, I went to add a presentation and then found my new PowerPoint in here. Double click on that and it just automatically uploads it into this. So you see, here's the slides that were recorded, right, that are in my recording over here, and then these are the new slides, right? So I can take my my cursor and put it, let's say, at 6 seconds instead of this slide. I want to have this slide, right? So I'll click here and then I would click add this slide. So I was actually at 7 seconds. But now when I play it, it's going to switch over to that new slide until
Standard
the next
1,
slide comes up.
The empowered learner. Students leverage technology to take an active
So
role
right
in
here,
achieving, demonstrating
it'll switch away
competency
from the
in
slide
learning
that I
goals.
just added to that one. So now if I wanted to replace this slide, now I put my cursor where this one comes up and we can insert a new one there. So now when I play it,
Demonstrating
instead of
competency in
switching
their
to the
learning
other one,
goals.
it'll switch to the one that I just added.
Standard 2, digital citizen.
But your
Students
audio
recognize
Your
the
audio
voice.
stays the same, right? So if I wanted to get the audio out, I would have to use this, right? The little cut. So when you click on the cut tool, immediately you see these on the front and the tail end, because that's where most of the time you're going to just be trimming stuff. But you can also come in here and cut from the middle. But you see where it's highlighted, you're taking out the audio and the slides. So that's kind of, you can't take out one or the other, you got to take out both of them. But you can insert new slides. Now if you wanted to insert new material completely, then you have to go to the advanced editor, which is over here, where all this stuff is. Now the advanced editor, I think maybe the word advanced is perhaps not the best word to use. It can only really do one more thing than this editor, but it does do some stuff. Again, something weird though, you can't access it through Chrome or Firefox or Edge. You can only access the advanced editor in Internet Explorer. because they use Silverlight, and Silverlight can only be used in Internet Explorer. So I've already got that pulled up in Internet Explorer. So the same, all right, so I think what you had emailed me about was wanting to do the webcam intro, like do a little intro to the PowerPoint and then have the PowerPoint. Okay, so if you want to be able to do that, this is how you would do it. You would have to go into the advanced editor. Okay, so I've pulled up that same recording that I just had that was just capture PowerPoint, right? So I've got that. I go into advanced editor in that, and this is what the advanced editor looks like. Okay, so go right here to add content. Now I will say that it's pretty slow, and more often than not it will give you the message that the web page isn't responding, and then that'll stay up for like 3 or 4 seconds, and then it'll load, and so it's a little bit frustrating to use, but it does work. So I'll go to add content. So I would have to have the PowerPoint and the webcam intro already recorded. So what I'm doing right now is taking the PowerPoint recording, the webcam recording, and merging them together. Okay, so I want to add a different session. Okay, so see, it just gave me down here, well, you didn't see it, but it popped up not responding, and then it just, so if it does that, just give it a second. So I've already recorded a little intro segment. And just as a side note, when you record your intro segment, make sure that you give it somewhat of a unique name so that when you come in here, it's not going to take you forever to find it. This one's actually very quick. Every other computer I've done this on has not been this quick, but this is working pretty well. Okay, so you do your little search, you find your intro video, and then you insert it into the current video, and then you can slide it around wherever you want to. So see, when I slid it, it pushes that little marker right there over for whatever reason. Again, just little quirks. So you have to make sure that you're not cutting off the PowerPoint video when you're sliding this around to get it where you want. So just make sure that everything is still nice and bright and nothing is grayed out. So now I've got my little intro, and then it goes right into the PowerPoint. And if you want to, like, see, I've got a pretty good bit of dead space right here. You can see by the audio waves that nothing's being said right there. So I can come in here and I can cut all that dead space out to where it'll go straight from me talking to me talking, and there's no dead space in between.
What about that slide that's grayed out? Is that still there?
Right here.
Yeah, when you grayed it out. Did it
Yeah,
keep the slide out?
anything that is grayed out is not gonna show up. But see, all right, so I'll just.
Hello, and welcome to today's professional. Standard 1, the empowered learner.
So
Students
it's,
leverage
it
technology
just
to
skips
take an active
to
role in choosing,
whatever slide would be
achieving,
up. So it doesn't,
demonstrating
it grays it out
competency,
as long as I'm cutting, but it doesn't completely
Standard
just
2,
take the slide
digital
out. So,
citizens.
right,
Students
they would still
recognize
see it.
rights.
Until a new one comes up.
Right. So that's how you, with Panopto, that's how you take your webcam intro and your PowerPoints and put them together. Okay, so it is possible, but kind of tedious. As far as sharing content in Moodle, there's 2 ways that we do that. Let me get out of Internet Explorer. Oh, and I was going to show this pause feature too. Yesterday, Brian had came to the one that I did yesterday, and he was asking about the pause feature, and I never noticed that there was a pause button there. So this is a way that you can kind of edit the video while you're recording the video. So like if you're working an example, you're going to work 3 or 4 examples, and you don't want to try to have to get it perfect, So you can work one example and then hit pause. The counter is going to keep going, but it's not actually recording. So, and this will kind of demonstrate to you what I mean by that. Okay, so this is an example of the pause feature, so I want you to keep a close eye on the counter there. If you can see it, it's at 10, 11, 12, so I'm going to pause it at 15. Okay, so I just unpaused it, and as you can... Okay, so now, see, this one kept going while I had it paused, so when you're recording it, you're still seeing this counter going, but we're 10 seconds difference between the playback and what you're seeing here. So while it's paused, even though it says it's recording, it's not actually recording. I think it is, but it's recording to the Panopto server, so that if you, for whatever reason, decided you wanted to go back and get that content back, then you can. But you can see on my counter here, and you can't see it good on that first one, but the second one you'll see it does kind of like a fade between the pauses. Pause it again at 40, and then we'll unpause it at 50 on my counter. Okay, so see, again, when you go from pause to unpause, it does kind of a little fade to transition. So if you were working some example problems, then that would be a nice little fade from one to the next. And that keeps you from having to feel like you got to do it perfect, you know, because I know when I first started making these videos, that was always my thing, was I was so nervous because like I don't want to mess up because then I'm going to have to start all over, you know. So that's the pause feature. As far as sharing, putting it on Moodle, there's two ways we can do it. You either share the link, or you can embed it. So those are your two options there. When you click there, it just automatically highlights the whole thing for you so you can copy it. So if you want to share a link, then you would do add an activity, URL. And then we would say chapter 2, video 1, or whatever you want to name it. And then paste your link there. Oh, no, not choose. I just chose it. Okay, so that's how that shows up. The other option is to embed it. And the best activity for that is a label. So go to add a label. Okay, so your label text is actually going to be that embed code. So you're not actually going to give this one a name like you did the link, because it's going to show up on the page. So the name of the video will be up at the top of the little viewer. But to get to the point where you add the embed code, you got to click on this little show more buttons right here. So you actually have more features than this. You just have to click that to get them. So then there's this little left-right arrow. It looks kind of like brackets. That's what allows you to do the HTML code, and then you come in here and paste that embed code. So see, the name of the video is going to show up right there. So instead of having the name of it here, you won't need to have it there. And then they can just play it right on the page or go full screen if they want. Okay, so that's recording, editing, and sharing with Panopto. Is there anything else that you specifically were wondering about Panopto? Okay. So let's talk about Screencast-o-matic.
Let me ask one question.
Okay.
You know, when you were doing your folders and subfolders,
Mm-hmm.
if you have two of the same course, two sections,
Mm-hmm.
do you have to share it on both Moodle pages, or is there any way to embed, like?
Okay, so you're saying, let's say you had, because I don't think I'm going to know the answer to that, but I'm going to find out.
Two distance that are identical.
So you're talking about you'd have like a math, say 100 with a course number, and then another math 100 with a different course number.
I want to throw a new video out there. I've been going to each Moodle and sharing it with either one?
I don't know. Let me figure that out. I know that there's a way, because I just watched a webinar on it yesterday. In the future, like when we create a new course in Moodle, I know that there's a way now that you can take all of the videos that you had embedded from the fall semester and copy them over to the spring semester, or whatever you want to copy them over to. So I'm not really sure exactly yet. I'm gonna have to go back and watch the recording of the webinar, but I do know it's possible. So first, let's go to Screencast-o-matic. Easiest way to get there is just type that into the Google bar, and then well, see, I'm already logged in, but you would go to the, if you're not logged in, right up here it's going to have a sign up feature. So I think the way that this one works is when you go to sign up, you put in your email address, they email you, so you verify your email address, and then you would go in and set your account up that way. Once you have your account set up, when you log in, this is what you're going to see. Okay, so this is kind of like what you're looking at here is similar to this in Panopto. It's we can record from this page. We have our video library in this page. We can create different channels. See, I've got some different channels created over here. This was before I decided to use Camtasia, so I created these channels in Screencast-o-matic, but then I decided to use a different software. So again, this page is the same as this page in Panopto. Let's look at the differences between the free version and the paid version. So with the free version, you got a limit of 15-minute recordings, which I know for a lot of people that's going to be, but the other side of that is this. I mean, there's a lot of research that shows that your recording shouldn't be longer than that anyway. So if you need, like, I understand 15 minutes is not enough time to do most lectures. So if I need 50 minutes worth of lecture, I make 5 10-minute videos.
So it's not the total 15 minutes, it's just each one has that limit.
Correct. So you have, right, a 15-minute limit per video, not like overall how much time you can record. So you've got the 15-minute limit. There's a little watermark on it, you know, that says Screencast-o-matic, which is not a big deal. You can do the screen capture and the webcam capture and switch back and forth between the two. You can publish it to YouTube, or you can save it as a video file. So, you know, you can do a lot with it. The stuff that you don't get is the video editor. So the capability to do all the editing stuff, like overlays with the arrows, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. You don't get the draw tools, and I'll show you the draw tools here in a minute. The speech to text closed captioning, which is really cool. I just realized that I had that option yesterday when I was going through looking at all this stuff, and I'll show you how that works in just a minute. But basically you can record and either publish it to YouTube or save it to your computer. That's what you can do with the free version. You're just limited on the time. So let's look at how the recorder works. So you launch the recorder straight from the website page. Oh yeah, I've already got it open. The first time that you go through this, it's going to make you do maybe it'll make me do it here. Yeah. Okay, so don't just skip this part. If you do, when you record, you're going to hear this awful screeching white noise stuff in the background if you don't click right there, auto adjust volume. So that's kind of like it's picking up your microphone and setting the levels where they need to be. And if you don't do it, then it's going to sound awful. So we'll do mic check, 1 2 1 2 3, kind of do some tapping so it peaks it out. Too low. Check, check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. Alright, so you pick what you want to record. Do I want to record just the screen, webcam, or both at the same time? And this one you don't have to be too worried about which one you pick in the beginning, because you can switch back and forth while you're recording. So, and then you see right now I've got this little box in the middle of the screen, so that's all I would be recording. If you want to go full screen, then you come here and go full screen. These are the different sizes that you can do. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do full screen. I already picked my microphone is this guy right here. And just as a side note, the default microphone, most of the time, like the one that's built into the laptops and stuff, they don't work very well with Screencast-o-matic for some reason. So the little headset microphones usually do pretty well. And you can get those pretty cheap, like 10, 12 bucks. And it's just got a USB that you hook into the side. I think this is another thing you can't do with the free version, computer audio. So if I was going to, say, record a YouTube video, I'm sorry, not record, but during my recording show a YouTube video as part of my presentation, then if I don't have the ability to capture the computer audio, then the only way they're going to get sound from that is from it coming out of the speakers and being picked up by the microphone. So it's not gonna pick it up too well. I'm gonna do both. Not picking it up for some reason. Maybe it will when we get going. Alright, it's not communicating with my webcam for whatever reason, but alright, so when you start recording, this is the way that you would switch back and forth between your webcam to your full screen. So say if I wanted to do a little intro to my video, like, you know, hey, I'm Mr. McCarg, this is lesson whatever, so I can start off with full webcam. That's what this would be right here, and I wish my webcam would work with it. So you can do full webcam, and then when you get done with the intro part, then you click here and it says hiding, and that'll switch it from the webcam to just the desktop. So then we can go in, and I'm going to do it this way. Pick the wrong one. Oh well. We'll have to. All right, so I can show you this. So I just paused it, right? So in Panopto, when you pause it, the recorder keeps going, and somewhat confusing about what's actually happening. Here, it pauses it, you know it's paused, everything stops, right? So I work an example, I get done with that example, I click pause, I go to the bathroom, get my stuff ready, take a break, do whatever. I come back, I click record, it's going to pick up right where I left off, right? Another cool thing is, okay, so now I'm picking back up with example 2 now, change to a different slide, I mess up on something, you know, or I don't like the way that I said something, and I want to change that example. So I click pause again. Right, now I don't have to go back and start all the way over, because I had paused it in between example 1 and example 2. Now I can click this little guy right here. Let me scoot that up. Click that, seek back to the last pause or resume point. So see, I was at 1:19. That took me back to 1:07, where the first time was that I paused it. Now I can go back and click record. Yes, I want to truncate or edit off that little bit. Okay, so now that's going to delete what I just did with example 2, and I can pick back up right where I left off. And so it's kind of, you edit it, you know, as you're going. And another thing I like about this is I can watch this, see if I like it. I can edit it, do all this different stuff to it before I decide what I'm going to do with it, right?
You don't have to
Right, it doesn't automatically upload. So I can edit it, I can save it as a video file, I can delete it, or I can go back and start over. So I'm going to save this one as a video file, and while that's saving, I'm going to show you the draw tools. Desktop. Okay, so that's going to be going on in the background. It's going to be saving to my desktop in the background. While that's doing that, I'm going to show you how, the draw tools that come with the paid version. You can access the draw tools in full screen, but you have to set up a hotkey for whatever reason. Like if you don't set up a hotkey, then you start recording in full screen, there's no way to access the draw tools. So you have to go to 720p or something smaller than full screen, or you have to set up a hotkey to where you can just push like Control D or something and it'll pop up. Kind of a little quirk. So I'm going to switch it to 720 and then go to record. All right. Well, where did it go? That was weird. I pushed record and it just kind of closed down on me. Might be because I'm doing something in the background.
It lets you log in through Google.
Log into.
Screencast-o-matic.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't really matter how you log in.
No.
I know that Flipgrid worked a little differently, and I think it was because I got in that way.
You got in through
Google.
Huh.
Thought maybe this one.
All right, there we go. I don't know what happened that first time. So now that I'm not full screen, and again, I don't really know why this little thing doesn't stay up when you go full screen, but it doesn't. So you can either create a hotkey to get your draw tools, or you can shrink the size that you're recording. So now I click on my little pencil in the middle of recording, and that brings up all my draw tools up here. Now, you know, these are not necessarily all that advantageous if you don't have, you know, something like this or some sort of pin. You know, it's, if your aim is to do example problems with these and you want to do something freehand, then it's going to be kind of hard to come in here and do a, you know, I mean, that's awful. But you can do, you know, what you can do is like this kind of stuff. You know, if it's, you know, I want to point out some points or whatever, or if I wanted to highlight some things. So that's stuff that you can do without, you know, actually writing. And, you know, you got all the different colors that you can choose from. You can zoom in. I think to zoom you do a double click. Yeah. So we zoom in on stuff and then zoom back out. I would also create hotkeys for those as well, because it just makes things easier to do with the keyboard than the mouse. So that's your draw tools. And let's go to pause and done. Actually, let's do this. Redo. Well, I was going to show you, but before I go to done, you can actually watch a playback of it on the screen. So you can go back and push play and watch a playback of it before you ever even get to this screen. So you have two different ways to watch a playback before you decide what you're going to do with it. So I saved the other one as a video file, and the reason I did that one that way and this one differently is I'm going to show you, all right, now that we've got these recorded, now how am I going to get them on Moodle to my students, right? So if I upload it to Screencast, go to publish, make sure you do copy link here. If you have the free version, make sure you do copy link here, because if not, it's kind of hard to get back to where you need to be to find that link. If you have the paid version, then it's not so bad. But you do upload to Screencast-o-matic, copy the link, and then just the same way that we did, where did I must have clicked out of my Moodle account. Yep, sure did. So I have to go back into it. But just the same way that we added that link from the Panopto video, you do the same exact thing with this link. You go in, add an activity, URL, paste the link, and takes them to the Screencast-o-matic library instead of taking them to a Panopto library. So same difference. If you wanted to embed it, that would be a little bit different. Let's see if my video has saved to the desktop yet. Yep, there it is. Okay. So here's the first one that I did save as video file instead of uploading to Screencast-o-matic. So if you do it that way, go into Panopto, create, and instead of recording, I want to upload this other video that I have. So I'll do upload media. It uploads it. Close the window. Okay, so now it's in Panopto. Now I can go back and embed it the same way that I embedded the other. So it's just one more step of taking it from my computer, uploading it into Panopto, and then once I have it in Panopto, I can embed it the same way that I embedded the other one. Let's see, draw tools. All right, so now let's look at what you can do as far as editing. So first of all, see these little guys right here? The little rectangular things? So that tells you, it picks up when there's like a gap in audio. So if I wanted to go in and edit out, you know, a space, like a dead space, then that's going to kind of highlight some of the dead spaces for you. That's not necessarily to say that those are the only places you're going to want to edit out, but that just kind of automatically pops up to say, hey, there's some dead space here. You might want to look at this and see if you want to edit it out. So your cut tool, you know, if I want to take something off the beginning or the end, I can cut there. So that just cut off the whole beginning of it. I can cut in the middle. Let's see. Yeah, so first you put it where you want to cut and then click it. And then I can. So as I'm dragging this down here, you see the playback actually goes. So I kind of get to see what it is that I'm cutting. So if I wanted to cut it to, you know, the point where I wanted to cut this 4x squared out and make it pick back up right before I draw that little arrow, then I cut that little bit out.
Is to do example problems with these, and you kind of stuff. You know, if it's, you know, I want to,
and it just picks it up right where it left off. So the cut tool is a lot easier to use. The other tools you have, let's say that maybe there's some key pieces of information that you wished you had highlighted or drew some arrows to or something like that while you were recording it, but you didn't. So then after the fact, you can come in here and overlay it on top of the recording. So say that maybe I wanted to highlight Oh, there it is. I was confused. Let's say maybe I wanted to highlight this down here. Then I do my little highlight. Another cool thing I like about this, while you're editing it, you can preview, see what it's going to look like.
I want to point out some points or...
Right, so just play that little like 5-second segment of the video, and you can decide, all right, do I like that or do I not like that? If you do, you push OK. If you don't, then you can, change what you're doing, or if you decide you don't want to do it at all, you just cancel it and it's gone. We can overlay text. We can do the highlight. We can draw arrows. We can draw boxes around things. You can change the shape of the box. You can change the color, the thickness, all of that kind of good stuff. Let's cancel that. And you can blur things out. For whatever reason, if you happen to be capturing the screen and you were in Moodle and you for some reason captured some student information that you didn't mean to, then you can come in here and blur that kind of stuff out. You can also overlay images, which I can't off the top of my head think about a way that you could use that, unless maybe you wanted to add something in after the fact. But any images that you have on your computer, you just search them, double click, and then I think I might have actually put one on the desktop. Yeah, so let's just, all right, so there's a Northwest-Shoals logo. So if you wanted to keep that up in the left hand corner of the video for the whole time, then you could just take those and drag them to span the video, and so now you've got the logo up in the corner for the whole video. What other tools? Oh, all right, so you can obviously do the intro video to the PowerPoint much easier with this, because you can switch back and forth between webcam and not webcam. Plus you have the ability, even with the free recorder, you have the ability to pause and then go back and cut things off. If for whatever reason you weren't able to do it that way, you can insert things a lot easier here too. So I can insert a new recording into this recording, and so wherever my cursor was, I click record here, it's going to erase what was there and replace it with this. So that's a kind of a better way to be able to insert. What else can you insert? Well, video files. So if you had another video that for whatever reason you wanted to put in the middle of this one, then you can just insert it. Just make sure that you put the cursor where you want it before you click on the insert new, because that's where it's going to pick up at, wherever your cursor was at when you clicked on the tool. Oh, show you this too. Let's go back to my recordings. The speech to text closed captioning, and you're doing one of the Quality Matters courses, right? So this is something that'll help with the accessibility portion of the Quality Matters certification. You go to Edit in your video, over here to Captions, Speech to Text, and Screencast-o-matic uses the Google speech recognition software.
Hey guys, Matthew here. Welcome to episode 2 on the Panopto tutorial channel. In this episode, we'll look at a few different options when recording a screencast.
Now, it is
The basic
not 100% accurate. So hey guys, Matthew here, it did deer, so I could come in here. So you're gonna have to go in and make a few changes. The basic editing features available in Panopto is what I said there, and it translated that as impanado. So go back and say in Panopto. So that is, the closed captioning services that you have to purchase are usually pretty expensive. They charge by the minute, I believe. I found one that does, I think, like 99 cents a minute or something like that, which is actually not that bad. But, that's if you're keeping your videos to a minimum. But, I mean, a 50-minute lecture is $50, versus this. Which obviously, it'll take a little bit of time to go in and make the fixes. But I let this play all the way through the other day to see how many mistakes there were in it, and I mean, there wasn't a lot. Basically, every time I said Panopto, you're gonna have to fix that, which y'all aren't gonna be saying the word Panopto all that much. But do make sure, if going into it that you're gonna be using this, just kind of be over articulate, because it is a speech recognition software. So the more articulate you are, let me say the word articulate. The more articulate you are, the better that this is going to be able to translate it for you. So I mean, for $18 a year, it can do a lot, and the more you use it, the better you get with it. You can do these scripted things, and this is stuff that I haven't even played around with, where you can, type out what you're going to say beforehand and then go back and do the video, and it's pretty nifty. You can import things into this. So say if you wanted to take the videos that you already have in Panopto and close caption them, then you would have to first, let me just show you how to do that too. You would have to first go into Panopto to whatever video that you wanted to have closed captioned. Go to settings, go to outputs, and then download it onto your computer. So you take the video off of Panopto, put it onto your computer, and then once you have it on your computer, you come into Screencast-o-matic, you import it from your computer into Screencast-o-matic, and then do the closed captioning. So anything that you currently have, you can put it in here and get it closed captioned.